Well, driving is one of the most dangerous things a human does. Statistically, getting in an accident is a real risk. And beyond that, driving, and definitely driving in traffic, is just stressful. And stress lessens quality of life. Now, on the positive side, driving can be fun, adventurous, independent, when you're in exploration mode. When it comes to living in a car, which I did for just over 5 years full time, I still have my car set up like that, but I have purchased a home base within the past year. I live full time in an RV, and I still travel out of my car, and I still keep it set up like my hub, at least for the time being, because I'm just more comfortable that way. But part of my reason for getting off the road full time and buying a home base is I wanted to drive less. That's right. In the beginning of my journey, I can't say that I drove more per se, because I was still somewhat stationary or local in my area, because I had a local job and I was still figuring out my game plan, which was eventually to get to Florida. But I was kind of in exploration mode and in healing mode, because I'd sold my house, got rid of all my belongings, and I just wanted to consolidate everything and spend some time healing and focusing on my dream. And as years go on, you want to measure your dream, you want to measure and have a goal, have a target, so that, you're not just drifting. There's nothing wrong with drifting for a while, but you also want to focus and, head in a direction. And part of my reason for buying a home base, which I went back and forth and I looked at all the angles, and part of it was just getting burnt out on the road. Tired of driving, tired of dealing with traffic, tired of going from the gym parking lot to the Starbucks parking lot to the local park to walk around, and, all the things, and the volatility, the risk of not just getting in an accident, but getting hurt, or just moving around even if you don't get in an accident. And that burns you out over time. I have 250,000 miles on a 7-year-old car. That's, some people don't put that amount of miles on their car in their lifetime. So just like a car gets worn out, you get worn out by being on the road so much. And for me, everyone's different and everyone's in a different season of their journey. Don't let me define your journey, but I want to share part of my journey. I also want to say that at a certain point, don't share part of your journey. In the beginning of me selling my house, living out of my car, I didn't share with anyone. I didn't even have a YouTube channel till months, almost a year after that. And even that I hesitate with. And same thing in the reverse. When I bought a home base, I struggled with, I'm going to share it. And I shared some, but I haven't shared it all. And some things have changed because it's a balance, right? It's like, again, when you go full-time living in your car, you're taking a higher risk, you have higher flexibility, but with the flexibility comes the risk. It's like a risky asset. And that's okay for a season. And then you have to mitigate risk and balance your life. And that's the hard part. Just like any investment, just like anything in life, there's a time to be extreme and a time to be balanced and a time to be public and a time to be private. And there's no exact science, but there is data, there is measurement. And through measurement, we know that driving is risky. That's why you have mandatory car insurance, because it's so dangerous. And also, beyond that risk is the stress on your being, because you're always moving, which is fun for a while, but over time, you get tired of it, at least full time. I still like driving. I still like being in my car part-time. And, again, it was a big adjustment buying a home base. And, there's some negatives, and I've shared some videos about the pros and cons and throughout my journey and even after I bought my home base. And so, there's no lifestyle that's 100% perfect, and everything depends on where you're at. But the exit strategy to get out of living in your van or living in your car or even living in your RV, because RV is just a vehicle, even though you can, in most RVs, you can fully stand up. You have all the facilities of a house, a bathroom, a kitchen, etc. So it's different than a regular vehicle, but you still need somewhere to park it. And that's why, for me, again, buying land or buying some type of property where you have equity in the community is wisdom, because lot rent is just that. It's just rent. Not that that's wrong, and not that renting a home base is wrong. It's not, because everyone has a different financial situation and everyone wants a different level of investment, because buying a home base has a level of risk. Everything has risk. So it's not about a risk-free life, and it's not about a stress-free life. It's about evaluating your life and where you're at. So again, in my experience, not my theory, after about 3 to 5 years living full-time out of your vehicle, by then you have probably traveled to everywhere you want to travel. Okay? And by then you're probably circling around certain areas more than not, because they're your favorite areas. And then by then, you're burnt out on dealing with the public, because when you live in your vehicle, you're in public establishments more, the gyms, the truck stops, the parks, the cafes. And even if you're like that when you have a home base, you go back to a home base whenever you want, or at the end of the day, or throughout the day, to reset yourself. It's your sanctuary, your home base. And even though your vehicle is your sanctuary, you're surrounded by the public, and there is a difference, okay? It's, so again, so after 3 to 5 years, you get burnt out because you've seen everything you want to see. You circle around your favorite areas. And I often say, not to be negative, but to share with you, this is my experience, is after a while circling around the same areas, now you're no longer a nomad, you're the local homeless person, okay? And if you have no other choice, that's your choice. Even though you could go to social services if you can't work, and if you don't want to work and you choose, and if you can work and you choose not to, that's your choice. I don't bother anyone, but I want to share with you. It's like, so then you ask yourself, well, what type of lifestyle do I want to live? As far as appearances, I don't care. So it's not about appearances, because to me, I still look like a drifter. I still look like a nomad. I'm not dressed up. I still look homeless, you could say, but that doesn't bother me. Because it's not, anything I'm sharing with you is not about vanity or appearances or society norms. It's about your well-being. Because getting tired of driving and tired of being on the road and tired of the endless movement is the message in this video. Not society norms, not pressuring you, not guilt-tripping you, not shaming you. Sharing my real-life experience for me, from my perspective. And after 3 to 5 years or so, you get burnt out on the road. You're taking a higher risk because you can get sick, hurt, or injured, or you're getting older. And you have no sanctuary. You have no... like a savings account financially is a level of risk management, because it's not necessarily making too much money because it's not in risk, so it's not yielding a return, but it's insurance that in case your risky investments go down, you still have a certain amount of money in a stable place where it can subsidize you, right? And there's nothing 100%, but there is risk management, right? So that's the thing. And again, that's the thing too. When you live in a car, you may cut some overhead. You may have more cash flow. You may put more of your assets in risk. And you yourself are taking risk by not having a home base. And then what can happen is you get into a high risk situation. And it's good when it's good, but when it's bad, it could go bad real quick. Your investments could crash. You could get sick, hurt, or injured. You could get too old. And then before you know it, that's the destitution route. And so that's risk, okay? Nothing wrong with risk. We need a level of risk, but you also need risk management, and eventually you need to balance your life somewhat, because you'll get tired of driving, tired of traffic. God forbid you get in an accident, or God forbid you get sick, hurt, or injured, or God forbid you're just tired of it, and then you don't have a way out, So this is just my experience I want to share with you. I got tired of full-time, I wanted to create a hub. I didn't want to just always drive around everywhere and not know I could turn that off. Like, again, you can rent campgrounds, you can rent an apartment. I mean, you can do Airbnbs, but there is a difference psychologically and from an asset allocation standpoint. There is a difference between doing that and owning a piece of property and having a physical home base. There's a difference. I can tell you from my experience, not my theory, I've done both. So nothing is perfect. I'll tell you that too. So everyone's different. I'll tell you that too. just sharing some things, not all things. I'm sharing some things, not all things. Why? Now we're also talking about more privacy. It's a balance. It's all these things. And that's like a home base is you're getting more privacy, right? When you're in the public more, you're less privacy. So also what living in my vehicle taught me, and I'll probably do a little separate video on this, is, I like a certain level of privacy. Okay? I like to share. I like to be in the public a certain amount, because too much privacy, you become like, it's too lonely, it's too uncreative, it's too unfulfilling, it's too, it's wisdom, and it's good to share a little bit and to be in the public a little bit. And then there's also that level of wisdom for the privacy, for the reset, for your sanctuary, to be by yourself and not be bothered and not always have to knock on the bathroom door, or, always have someone looking at you, or, those things, But either way, I hope this video helped. If it did, click the thumbs up, share the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the people that have been watching for a long time. I know I'm thankful for you. I know there's a lot out there that support me, and I appreciate you throughout the years, okay? Thank you.